Okay, in today's video, we're going to walk through break-even analysis. And to do this, we're going to follow example number 3 from our book. That's on page 203. So go ahead and turn to page 203 so you can follow along with what we're doing. And be sure to pause the video as you're working this so you can work the problem side by side as I'm doing it. This will show you exactly how to do problem number 3 from your homework. So be sure you can do this, follow this, and then you should be all set for problem number 3. Okay, so example 3 says, the owner of Old Fashioned Berry Pies is contemplating adding a new line of pies, which will require leasing new equipment for a monthly payment of $6,000. Variable costs will be $2 per pie, and the pies will retail for $7 each. And it's got several questions along those lines, starting with what will be the break-even point. So to set this up, we're gonna build a chart like the charts you see in your book. So first we need the unit start and the unit increment. Now this will make sense as we build the chart, and you can see how it's going to work. But we'll just say for now we're going to start with 1 unit and increment 100 at a time. Okay, then we need the variables from our question. So we need our fixed costs, our unit variable cost, and our revenue per unit. And I have table 5.4 from the book up here, so you can see exactly what these letters mean as I use them down here. Okay, our fixed cost, it says that there's a monthly payment of $6,000. So we'll put $6,000 as our fixed cost. Our variable cost is the amount that it costs per pie to make it. So that is $2. And our revenue per pie is what it'll sell at, which is $7 each. Okay, so those are the various pieces of information. Now I like to format these with the accounting format, so I'm going to highlight them and then press this $ up here for the accounting number format. Okay, now we're going to build our chart. So the columns for our chart is Q, which is the quantity, TR, which is total revenue, VC, which is the total variable cost, FC, which is the total fixed cost, TC for the total cost, and P for profit. So this is going to build our chart that we're going to use to make our graph. For our quantity, we're going to start at our unit start from up here. So here I'm going to say equals, then using my arrows, say equals, using my arrows, I'm going to go up to here and press enter. So starting quantity is 1. Now my total revenue is going to be the quantity I sell times the revenue per unit. So this equals this times my revenue per unit. Now, whenever you do revenue per unit, you're going to want that column fixed. So just remember that anytime you reference a field up here, a cell up here, you're going to want to fix that value. And that'll make sense here in a minute. So just know you do equals this times, then hold down F4 to get that $7. Now notice that it put a $ before the B and a $ before the 15. That means that's fixed. And as we bring this formula down in our chart, that will always reference B15. So I could have gotten that by typing $B, $15. But the easier way, oh, that was a percent, $15. But the easier way is to put your cursor on there, then do F4. Now, depending on your keyboard or laptop, you may have to hold down a function key in order to do F4. And then I've got the $7 there. So if I sell 1 unit, my total revenue is $7, okay? My variable cost is then the number of the units times my unit variable cost. Again, I'm holding down F4 or clicking F4 to get B14 with dollar signs. Now my fixed cost, this is always fixed no matter how many units I sell. So this is equal, again using F4 to get that $6,000 with $B $13. Your total cost is then your variable cost plus your fixed cost. So if I sell 1 unit, my total cost for that is $6,002. So then my profit is my total revenue minus my total cost. So if I do this project and I only sell 1 pie, I'm going to lose almost $6,000. So we know that that would not be a good decision if we're only going to sell 1 pie. Okay, so now we want to build this chart for additional quantities. So we're going to come over here underneath the 1 and do equal this plus, we want our unit increment. Hitting F4 to get the dollar signs and then enter. So see how we're starting with 1 and we're going 100 at a time. Okay, I then want all of these formulas here. So I'm going to highlight all of these cells. And then see this box here? I'm going to drag that down 1. And that brought these same formulas down. Now let's look how it did this. So here it's A18 times B15. Here it's A19 times B15. That's what I meant by fixing that reference. So as this fills down, the A reference changes, but the B1, B15 does not, because no matter what row we're on, no matter which quantity we're dealing with, we want it to reference B15 from up here. Okay, so now we want to go a lot more than 2 rows. So if we highlight all of these, grab that box and fill it down just a ways. Okay. Now we have all the way up to 17,001 units. And we can see our break-even point is somewhere in here. So we go from negative profits to positive profits. Okay, now we want to build a chart for this. So to build our chart, we're going to highlight this entire table that we built. Highlight the entire table and then go up to Insert, and you want to look for the scatter chart. I'm going to click that and find the one with the lines, the scatter with straight lines, and click that. And that builds our chart over here. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so we can see it better. Okay, all of these lines don't really make sense in here, so I'm going to right click on it and go to Select Data. Okay, and really all I need is the total revenue, the fixed cost, and the total cost. So I'm going to go back there, right click, select data. So I just want total revenue, fixed cost, and total cost. So I'm going to get rid of the variable costs and get rid of the profit. Okay, so now my blue line is my total revenue. I'm sorry, that was not what I wanted. No, that's right. Okay, blue line is total revenue. Yellow line is total cost. Okay, so when we're down here selling like 200 units, our total cost is way above our total revenue, so it's not worth it. Our break-even point is right around here, right around 12,000 or 1,200. And you can see that matches right around here, right around 1200 is where that crosses. Okay, so let's look at our questions now. So our first question is, how many pies must be sold to break even? So I'm going to go ahead and copy this question down here so we can look at that. How many pies must be sold to break even? So what we're calculating here is the quantity for the break-even point. And they do Q, BEP. And the way they always notate this is having the BEP smaller, which it looks like I may, yeah, highlight that. Oh, it makes the whole thing smaller. Okay, we'll just do it like this. I know on the Windows version of Excel, I was able to make, here we go. I'm going to highlight BEP, make that a little smaller. There. Oh, no, it's making the whole thing smaller. Okay, we'll just keep it like that. So we're going to calculate our QBEP. Now, there's a formula in your book that says, and this is on page 203, it says QBEP is equal to the fixed cost divided by revenue per unit minus variable cost. So we're going to say our QBEP is equal to our fixed costs, which is this, divided by our revenue, which is this, minus our variable cost, which is that. And it didn't calculate it. There it goes. I don't know what it was doing. Okay. Now that is showing it as a dollar sign. That's not a dollar amount. So I'm going to hit this comma to remove the dollar sign and remove a couple of decimal places. So our break-even point is 1200, which is about exactly what we had found here. It was right around this 1200 mark. So how many pies must be sold in order to break even? The answer is 1200. And I would like you guys to highlight your answers just so it's really clear to me which number you're saying is the answer. Okay, question B. What would be the profit or loss if 1,000 pies are sold a month? I don't know why. Copy and paste. What would be the profit or loss if 1,000 pies were sold a month? So we know that our profit equals our total revenue minus our fixed cost minus our variable costs. So our profit is equal to total revenue, which will be $7 times the 1,000 pies minus fixed cost, which is always 6,000, minus the variable cost, which is $2 times 1,000. So our profit equals 7,000 minus 6,000 minus 2,000. So what is 7 minus 6 minus 2? That is a profit of negative $1,000. So we know that if we sell 1,000 pies in a month, we will have a loss of $1,000. And I'm going to highlight that to show that that is my answer for part B. Part C. How many pies must be sold to realize a profit of $4,000? Okay. Again, we know that profit equals total revenue minus fixed costs minus variable costs. So we're saying we want a profit of $4,000. Total revenue is 7Q, so it's $7 times the number of pies we sell. Fixed cost is 6,000, and variable cost is $2 times Q. So we know that 4,000 equals 7 minus 2 is 5Q minus 6,000. I'm then going to subtract, or I'm going to add 6,000 to each side to isolate our Q's. So we know 10,000 equals 5Q. And then divide 10,000 by 5. I know that Q equals 2,000. So how many pies must be sold to realize a profit of 4,000? That is 2,000 pies. Okay. And finally, our last question is, if 2,000 can be sold and a profit target is 5,000, what would the charge per pie be? Okay, so we want our same formula. Profit equals total revenue minus fixed costs minus variable costs. Profit, we want a profit of 5,000 equals total revenue, which would be the 2,000 that we're selling times R, which is our revenue per unit. So what we're trying to figure out from this question is that revenue per unit. So 2,000 R minus fixed cost, 6,000, minus variable cost, which is 2 times 2,000. So 5,000 equals 2,000 R minus 6,000 minus 4,000. 5,000 equals 2,000 R minus 6,000 minus 4,000. I'm sorry, negative 6,000 minus 4,000 is 10,000. Then we want to add 10,000 to both sides. So 15,000 equals 2,000 R. So R is then equal to 15,000 divided by 2,000. So R is $7.50. So we know that if we are going to sell 2,000 and we want a profit target of $5,000, we're going to have to charge $7.50 per pie. Okay, so this solves example number 3 from the book. I want you to walk through this, make sure you can do this in Excel, and then look at problem number 3 in your homework. And problem number 3 is on page 212 in your book. So, and realize, since we set up these formulas, you can play with these numbers up here. So you can make this 0. If you want to start with 200 units or increment by 200 units, you can do that and see how this changes. So you can say, if my variable cost was $5 instead, how does that change things? So play around with this, understand how the chart works, and you can use this to begin setting up your homework assignment. Let me know if you have any questions at all. Thank you.